Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be doing some body pulls on this 1970 El Camino to fix a big old dent in the rocker panel. So here is the dent in question. It's a pretty good sized dent. I already ground it down with some 50 grit roll-lock disc. All right, so this dent, I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this or not, but it is about a 1/4 inch deep. I mean, that is a good 1/4 inch in the deepest spots. So we have a big old dent and a crease that is a 1/4 inch deep at the most. You can get away with filling that with long strand fiberglass reinforced filler and then top it off with your regular body filler to finish it off with. But that's still a little more than I like to use, especially in such a large cavity like that. If I can go ahead and pull the metal out as close to the original contour as possible, that way I use the least amount of filler as needed. There's a couple ways of doing that. If you can get to the back side and pound it out with a hammer, that's the obvious way to fix most dents. You can use one of these stud pullers with these pins and try to pull it out that way, which I tried, but the rocker panel is a little too heavy gauge of steel and it would not budge with the slide hammer that I have for these. There's other methods like wiggle wire and some other attachment methods where you grab a whole bunch of pins at once and pull on it. That's fine too. These were actually just popping off one by one. So how else are you going to go ahead and pull a huge dent out like this that you cannot get to the back side? Well, there is one thing you can do is you can tab pull, or basically give you something bigger to grip onto. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and weld this right to here and then pull on it. So how do you grab onto that tab without it slipping off all the time? You can drill a hole through the tab and then put your hook through it. What you'll want to do is get yourself a clamp. These are old school Mo clamps. These are, a body shop staple. If you can't get a hold of one of these things are stupid expensive. I got these secondhand from a body shop that was closing. He probably had a dozen of these things, but I only had like $100 or $150. So I got these two and then something else, some other little, oh yeah, a PPG cabinet. That's what else I bought from the guy. Anyway, I don't know. I think these were, I still paid at least, I think $50 a piece for these things. I don't remember, it was a while ago. But yeah, these things are not cheap, but they're worth their weight yeah. So anywho, these will clamp onto the tab. This is a wedge shape here, so as you pull on here, it actually tightens its grip. So the harder you pull, the tighter it gets. I do have these tie downs that I had put in the floor when I had the concrete poured. So I have these anchors I can pull from. And I'm just going to go ahead and use my come-alongs. I'm not straightening a frame, I'm just pulling on some thick sheet metal, so these will work just fine. I got some chains here that I'm going to use to tie the car down to the floor. So it's not like I'm pulling a frame or anything. I'm not using that much force. I'm just pulling some sheet metal. I just don't want to pull the car off balance off of the jack stands. So I'm just going to anchor it from the frame down to the floor on the other side, just with one chain, just to keep it from shifting. That's all. So you don't need big heavy chains for just doing regular sheet metal work. If you're just pulling out a core support or a fender apron or something, your run-of-the-mill chains should be fine. If you're pulling big frames or something, obviously you're going to want something a little bit heavier, but you're not going to be doing that at home anyway. So let's pull this guy out of here. So we got to find a spot on the frame here where we can hook it, either wrap it around or hook onto something, like in here somewhere. That would actually be fine. All right, so we have a lot of loose chain. I'll show you how to fix that. Here's about where my audio decided to stop recording. You can see just simply using a chain binder to take all the slack out of the chain. Here I am putting the clamp on. Make sure you get it really tight. Now they do sell vice grips with a loop on the end where you can hook a chain to it or something. They just don't grab it quite as strong as these. And then just ratchet it down with the come along. Start pulling. And I'm placing a jacket over there as kind of a damper. So if anything comes apart, it'll just go down instead of go flying across the room. And I'm not putting all that much force on there, so it's not that critical, but it's just good practice. And here, tapping it with the hammer just kind of stress relieves the metal, allows it to relax in the state that I'm trying to pull it to. The audio will be coming back here shortly. And there it broke. Welded the tab back on and reclamped it and get it all hooked back up and keep pulling.
Okay. Run my hook through here. Again, I'm going to put my jacket over the whole contraption here. That way it just falls down when it falls off. It'll come flying back at me.
You watch here as the car actually moves from pulling on it. So I'll need to add an extra chain. And then here it moves a lot. Well, maybe an inch or so.
Wow, that is quite a bit better. If you can see that. On the right there, there's still a bit of a gap. But yeah, look at that. That is way better. Still a little bit of pulling left to do to the left of it. So let's go a little bit more and then we'll relax it. Okay. Relax the chain. So let me cut this off, move it over a little bit, do one more pull. All right, so you can see here where I scooted the whole car over by that much. And so that was a little scary. So I went ahead and put another tie down, put another tie down in, whatever. Put another chain on it. That'll keep it from sliding that way anymore. All right, let's try to pull this out just a little bit more. Without pulling the whole car off the jack stands here. All right, you can see now with the tension off of it, pretty much got most of it out there. Still a little bit low right through there, but it is significantly, maybe it's only 1/8 of an inch now instead of a 1/4 of an inch. All right, so the lowest point on this dent is right here, and we were right here at a 1/4 inch deep. Now we're right here, which is at the most 1/8 of an inch, which is the maximum for body filler alone. So you can see the rest of this is really, really close. It gets down here, same thing. At the most here is actually less because it was down here. Now it's here, so it's even less than 1/8 of an inch. So might look like a lot, but an 1/8 of an inch is the maximum allowable for your regular body filler. So what I'm actually going to wind up doing is putting a coat of the long strand fiberglass kitty hair on there, and then finish it off with regular filler, and that'll be a much better repair than trying to fill in a whole 1/4 inch of mud. So that is way better. See right there, you can see 1/8 of an inch right there. Most of this is way under that. It's an 1/8 at the very most, and it's only in that one area right here. I could pull on this a little bit more, but I think I've worked hard in the metal enough with the welding and everything that I don't want to start tearing the metal, and then I'm gonna have to wind up stitching it back together, and this is a big old mess. So, all right, next up is to mix up the kitty hair. It tends to kind of separate a little bit in the can, so you want to mix it up real good. You don't want to get carried away and whip it up, but I'm just kind of stirring it. What I just did off camera here is gave it a quick wipe down the panel with some grease and wax remover, and blew it off with the air nozzle. I think that's probably more than enough. Always wind up having too much or not enough, so I just kind of err on the side of too much. Use a little bit more product, but at least you have you actually wind up using less product. Because if you have a little bit too much, you're able to get your dent filled where you want it and contoured. Have a little left over, you're okay. You may be wasting that little bit of leftover, but if you don't have enough and you're trying to fill up your dent and you run out, well, then you have to wait for that to dry and then sand it and then do a whole other application where you're probably going to wind up having too much again anyway. So you might as well just get it done in one shot, and then, you know, if you have a little excess, that's fine. And I am almost out of hardener. That is not good. So here we are with the first application of kitty hair long strand fiberglass reinforced body filler. This stuff's waterproof. Doesn't absorb water like the regular body filler does. But once this is kind of cured up, I'll knock it down with a little bit of 40 and then some 80, and top it off with some traditional body filler, and then, you know, prep and prime as usual. So there we go. That'll be a good repair. Then off to the rest of the golf ball. So you saw after the pull, I just put a skim coat of long strand fiberglass reinforced body filler, aka kitty hair. Once that kind of set, I knocked it down with this longboard air sander or air board with some 40 grit paper on it, and then did a skim coat of your standard body filler, and then straightened that out with a long block with some 80 grit. And then right when I'm just about there at contour where it needs to be, I went over it again and finished it off with some 180. So now it is ready for primer, and that's a completed repair. All right, guys, well, that wraps up this repair. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe and hit that like button, all that fun stuff. And if you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below, and we'll see you on the next one.